Good morning, everyone. Dr. Victoria Skirbo here, speaking to you from the Seeds of Transformation Healing Center in Wareham, Massachusetts. Today is Monday, June 14th, or this is Tuesday, June 15th, if you're in Australia. And the moon, what is the moon in? Leo. Yes, self-expressive Leo. I just have you on the front door here to show you all the honeysuckle that's around my door. So needless to say, it smells really good here. There's the peonies in the back. They're starting to, well, maybe not fade quite yet. Aren't they beautiful? They're just so lovely. We still have some peonies over here, although they are definitely starting to fade over here. But these were the first ones up, so that's what happens. There's the oak leaf hydrangea. That's actually an errant oak tree that's growing in my front yard that we have to cut down. We wanted to actually move it, but it got so big that the root ball would have been too hard to move. I don't like cutting anything down, but we certainly can't have an oak tree that close to the house. So today is the 14th. I guess we can have a rousing happy birthday to the former dictator in charge. No? Good. I don't want to sing happy birthday to him either. But it is a significant day because today is the second. Did you see that blackbird? Red-winged blackbird? He's on top of the there he is. He's going to the oh, there he goes. Oh my God, he's so beautiful. It's like I've never seen a red-winged blackbird in my yard, and so they're just so stunning because they're black, and then they have that red and orange on the tops of their wings. It's just like whoa when you see them. It's like very, very, in a way, shocking, but shocking in a good way. And black is the color of chaos, but it's also the color of potential. And the orange and the red are like sacral and root chakra colors. So it's like life force colors. So the life force is moving. Oh, there he goes, moving around here. Back to the day. Today we have the second of 3 Uranus Saturn squares. I did my week ahead. I showed the chart. I got really into it. So if you really want something a little more depth about it, you can check that out. I just put that out last night. But Saturn and Uranus are strange bedfellows, if they could be called that. Every I think it's 45 years, they come together in a conjunction, and then 45 years later, give or take, I think, they come around to another conjunction. The last conjunction was in 1988, actually, and there were 3 of them, and they were all in the last 3 degrees of Sagittarius, 30 degrees, 29 degrees, and 28 degrees, in that order, actually. If you want to know the Sabian symbols for those, I did those yesterday in the week ahead. Sagittarius, as a starting point for this synodic cycle, which we've come to, Sagittarius is about belief and belief systems. And Saturn and Uranus, Saturn is about structure, and Uranus is breaking apart that structure. And when we get to this last quarter phase, this crisis in consciousness square, the energy is really of breaking down the structures to let in more progressive, new, future-oriented ideas. And so as we sit here with this last quarter square in this year, which is the major aspect for the year, one in February, one today, and one on Christmas Eve, December 24th, at the end of this year, we're at the point where it's time to change and it's time to move in a more progressive way. And the interesting thing that's happening, hello little Chip, how are you? Chippolina. There it goes. Oh my God. Um, where was I? This last quarter square. So the interesting thing is that we're seeing old structures sort of fall away. The one person I'm thinking of specifically is Bibi Netanyahu, right? Who is now been, I'm not exactly, they got rid of him. There's a better word for it. There's a more official word for it, but he's gone. Um, they had a coalition government come together to get rid of him. Or somebody who leans to the right, someone who leans to the left. And I heard from Ellie down under that one of them is an Islamist. I'm not exactly sure what that means. But here we go. Things here are still a little bit disoriented. A lot of this stuff we are giving to a guy who collects scrap metal. So we don't like to throw things out. We like to recycle, and so that's what we're doing with that. But that's probably next. I think he's coming next weekend. But even here, getting rid of old structures, I actually had to let go of an organ that I had that my father had bought me. It was a Wurlitzer. It's a nice organ. He had bought me in the 70s. I wanted to be a drummer. But we lived in like a 3rd-story walk-up, and my mother said I couldn't be a drummer. So she said I could if I wanted to learn to play the organ like my cousin. And I wasn't too thrilled about that, but I learned to play the organ. I was good, I probably should have learned to play the piano, but no, I learned to play the organ. And I had brought it here from New Jersey when we brought my mother here, and it didn't actually work, but I was going to get it fixed. And because we live in an old farmhouse, unfortunately, it became a superhighway for mice. And when I opened the back, I knew that even if I could fix it, I don't think I'd want to put my hands in there. So I ended up having to let it go, which was a huge thing for me because it was a part of my past. Saturn. It was a structure from my past that was connected to my father, who I absolutely, positively. Hi, bunny. There's a little bunny over here. That I absolutely, positively would not want to get rid of. But it no longer had use. It no longer worked. And I have all the great memories of playing Spanish Eyes for my father, one of his favorite songs. I would say, Dad, what do you want me to play? He'd say, play Spanish Eyes. And so I would play Spanish Eyes. It was like my best song because he always wanted to hear it. But I had to give that up. I had to put that in the dumpster. Well, I didn't put it in the dumpster. I got my two guys that come and help me put it in the dumpster because it was heavy. But like, that's it. It's gone. It's gone. And it feels sad, but it feels good. It feels like there's room and space for things. And that's what this Saturn Uranus thing is giving us. Space for something different, for something new, for new energy to move in. And that energy really is oriented towards groups, progressive ideas. That's really where the future lies. And I know that Netanyahu is out. I know that Erdogan is having a hard time in Turkey. Certainly we, despite the fact that he doesn't believe it for some reason, we voted out to Donald Trump. All of these people are really symbolic of the old sort of power over patriarchal way. And so we are changing, we are shifting. We can see that. And we have to keep that in mind. We have to keep in mind that things are never going to be the same. But in a lot of ways, that's a good thing. It's a good thing things weren't working. Things aren't working. I mean, here in the United States, is democracy working? Well, it would work if we had a free press. It would work if we had an educated populace. You know, keep the people stupid, tell them lies, and you have them, right? Propaganda. It's as old can be. But we are becoming more aware and more awake. And I know the young people aren't falling for this garbage, and they're the future. So I think the future's bright, quite frankly. And this square between Uranus and Saturn is just the kind of energy. But that being said, there's going to be challenges. It's not going to be easy. But if we work together, like they did in Israel, then we have a chance, right? We have a chance. So, all right, well, it's very lush here, although it's very overgrown. And with all the purging, I haven't had an opportunity to like really tidy up a bit, but that will happen. So apologies for the mess, but I still think it's pretty. I still think there's a lot of pretty things to see here. Hopefully you just focused on that. So this square is happening at, is it 14 degrees of Aquarius, 14 degrees of Taurus, wherever, whatever houses those degrees fall in, those houses would square each other naturally. And so there's tension there already. You know, just in the general energy of the chart. But if you have any planets there, they could, whatever the archetype of those planets are, could be significant to what you're experiencing. For me, this square is, let's see, it's in my 6th house. It's actually my 6th house and my 10th house, I think. So what this square is activating my work and my money, my career, things like that. So hopefully it means my career is taking off. But you don't really know. And when Uranus is in the picture, you can't really plan for things. You can only really respond to things. And so I'm here ready to respond. I've taken my actions. I've purged. Mind you, there's a little bit more purging to be done, but that's another story for another day. But the big stuff, the stuff that was hard to let go of, is gone. So you don't have to look at the dumpster anymore, guys. I am so sorry about that. We'll just look at the roses. So I promise tomorrow the walkabout will be a little prettier, a little less stuff around, and we'll see. So be careful out there. This energy is erratic. This energy is somewhat explosive. And of course, we're dealing with Uranus and Taurus. There can also be some seismic activity. So be aware, take care, much love, and I will see you again tomorrow.